today's 15 on 15, we'll show you how a large population in the community celebrated Yentl Lieuw Day. Plus, in lifestyle, TripAdvisor announces its top 25 beaches in the world. And long, treacherous winters in North America can lead to canceled flights, but ultimately benefits Aruba. Find out how now. 15 on 15 starts right now. Thanks for watching. I'm Yentl Lieuw. March 18th was a patriotic day. Organized events everywhere only had one goal in mind, and that is to bring the people of Aruba together to celebrate. One event in particular drew large crowds. Go-karting in downtown attracted drivers and spectators alike. In downtown Orangestad, at the headquarters of the AVP party, a go-kart track was put together. Amateur, professional, and celebrity drivers alike took to the course in preparation to put on a show for all spectators who came downtown on Flag and Anthem Day. The unique approach to Himno y Bandera national holiday drew in large crowds. Children and adults alike all had something to do at the go-karting event. Minister of Finance Juan David Iruskin was one of the drivers. Sporting cart number 11, the politician seemed to fit right in front of the wheel. The people at the event didn't go hungry, as local flavors were everywhere. Savoring the taste of Aruba is one of the highlights of a national holiday, and Flag and Anthem Day was no exception in this particular case. Boxes of food were prepared, from fresh fish to tasty cakes. The crowd could consume this at affordable prices. With so many people watching on the sidelines of the racetrack, the drivers had to give them something to see. The main event had many racers. The track was filled with go-karts speeding around the course in downtown. All racers were geared up to do their best to reach the finish line first. Now that the national holiday of Himno y Bandera is over, the next big celebration is camping season. If you want to secure your spot for camping, be sure to apply for police permission early. Every year in April, the beaches in Aruba become much more populated with locals. Within the last few years, campers have had to apply for a permit to set up shop at designated areas. The purpose of this is to better regulate and maintain control during these few days. Campers were starting to fight over certain spots, therefore applying for a permit is now required. The Department of Communication of the police force says the earlier you send in your petition, the earlier it will be handled. Applications will be accepted up until March 28th. The camping period is from April 13th to the 27th. No permits will be issued for tents or trailers before or after this time period. Police will be maintaining order in the camping areas, both in Orangestad and Nord, as well as in St. Nicholas. Safety is key here. Police patrol will take place on bikes, quad racers, and in jeeps. The Coast Guard will make their presence on the ocean. Go-karting on Flag Day, what a unique twist to a national holiday. Moving forward, there was a slight drop in cruise calls last month compared to last year. Here is the quick breakdown on cruise tourism in the month of February of 2014. In February 2014, Aruba's port received 41 cruise calls in total. This is a slight drop of 9.4%. The island expects to recover from the decrease this month following Carnival Cruise Line's announcement that they are increasing their calls with an additional 14 ships. By the end of this year, Carnival will have 44 cruise ships port in Aruba. Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, on the other hand, will also be calling 8 more times with their Navigator of the Seas. According to the central bank, tourist spending increased by 5.2% for a total of $1.9 million up to the third quarter of 2013. For those who wish to camp in Orangestad, including Nord, you must apply at the police station in downtown. Those interested in the vicinity of Balashi and in its surrounding areas, you must submit your petition in the police station in Santa Cruz. Campers for St. Nicholas must put in their application at the police station of the area. Applications will be accepted until March 28th at the participating police stations. And don't go anywhere, because When we come back, we will have your lifestyle segment where we will reveal TripAdvisor's People Choice for the top 25 beaches in the world, the best beaches, of course. Also, we'll get into how a woman's waistline says a lot more about their health than you may think. And losing sleep doesn't only make you tired, it goes much more beyond that. There are more serious health complications. We'll have those topics and more in your lifestyle segment coming up, so stay with us. Welcome back from the break. TripAdvisor is the world's largest travel website. On Tuesday, the site revealed the top 25 best beaches in the world voted by Travelers' Choice Awards. Aruba's Eagle Beach, which claimed one of the top spots on this list in previous years, was nowhere to be found this year. TripAdvisor names world's best beaches in Travelers' Choice Awards. The beach rankings in its second year are determined by analyzing the quality and quantity of a year's worth of TripAdvisor user reviews of beaches across the globe. Brazil's Baía do Sancho moved up from its number 4 spot last year to number 1 this year. Overall, the Best Beaches Awards include 322 beaches and lists of the most highly ranked beaches for Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, Europe, and South America. Aruba, unfortunately, is not found on this top 25 list. Now, of course, this is not necessarily positive news for the island. But switching gears over to a different topic, what women's waist size says about their health. I'm sure you've heard for a while that BMI, body mass index, has definite limitations as an indication of overall health. Well, a new study suggests that there may be another key number you should look at. A greater waist circumference is associated with a higher risk of death, regardless of your BMI. Researchers looked at data collected from 650,000 participants, comparing their waist circumference measurements to their risk of all-cause mortality. Turns out a larger waist was strongly linked to a higher risk of death. Women with a waist circumference of at least 37.5 inches, for example, were 80% more likely to die during the study's follow-up periods. The median in this case was 9 years. Furthermore, each 2-inch increase in waist circumference was correlated with a 9% increase in mortality risk for women. The question here is, why is waist circumference so key? While BMI says nothing about the distribution of fat in your body, waist circumference can tip you off to abdominal obesity, and researchers say greater levels of abdominal fat in particular have been linked to various diseases. And turning over to a different health concern, sleep loss is bad for mood and mental processing. Take a look. Sleep loss may be more serious than previously thought, causing a permanent loss of brain cells. Research done on mice suggests that prolonged lack of sleep led to 25% of certain brain cells dying. If the same holds true in humans, it may be futile to try to catch up on missed sleep. Researchers think it may one day be possible to develop a drug to protect the brain from the side effects of lost sleep. Researchers say this is the first evidence that sleep loss can lead to a loss of brain cells. Researchers say more work needs to be done to find out if people who miss out on sleep might also be at risk of permanent damage. On that note, we will be right back. Take a look to see what is coming up next. North America has seen one of the worst winters in years. We may be soaking up in the sun being in Aruba and think the cold and snow doesn't impact the island, but it does. Treacherous weather equals canceled flights, which ultimately negatively impacts the island's tourism industry. With that being said, though, in the long run, the cold climate could benefit us as well. Here is Jim Heppel, the CEO of AHATA, to tell us how. Freezing cold temperatures, precipitation, and travel plans don't go hand in hand. This winter has led to more canceled flights to Aruba from the United States and Canada, much more than usual. Jim Heppel, the CEO of AHATA, says when guests are stranded on the island, they have to take care of themselves.
The plane doesn't come in, but the passengers also don't leave. So from a hotel's perspective, all it means is that the guest stays on. But because it's known in the industry as an act of God, I mean, the airlines have no control over the weather, then unfortunately it's the responsibility of the guest to take care of that accommodation. And the hotels understand that, so they give them a discounted rate because it's not of their own making, if you like.
When it comes down to it, Aruba has 70 to 75,000 tourists a month. One canceled flight has an estimated 150 passengers, so it's not a great deal of people. Aruba's hotels has always been able to accommodate the stranded visitors.
Typically, as I say, if guests coming in are going to replace those leaving, then they're having to stay, then the ones coming in can't use the room. So typically, if they have that wash, that the people coming in are equal to the people going out, then they just extend their stay. Where it gets difficult is if you're checking out and the people coming in aren't going to go into those rooms. It may be that, there's a bit of an imbalance and someone has to move, but the hotels work very closely together. So.
When asking Jim whether there has been more canceled flights due to winter storms this year than usual, he had this to say.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, January we had JetBlue, Delta, United out of Newark was cancelled, and then, as I say, yesterday and today the flights out of Atlanta. We've had two storms now in New York, and I'm sure it's not the end. I'm sure there'll be others.
North America's long, cold winter can, believe it or not, benefit Aruba's tourism in the bigger picture.
It has a positive and a negative impact, these winter storms. I mean, one is the immediate impact of the problems with cancellations and so on and so forth. But the other is that all of a sudden people are going to their travel agent saying, get me out of here. I mean, I can't stand this climate anymore. I have friends my own personal friends in New York basically saying they can't stand the cold and the weather and the snow and so on and so forth. So it also stimulates inquiries. So we get some short-term business as a result of that, which is good. So it works both ways.
That is our show for today. Thank you for watching. We'll be back here with a brand new edition of 15 on 15 on Thursday night starting at 7:15 p.m. right here on channel 15 ATV. So we'll see you then.